Welcome to the Beer Den Podcast. Tonight we'll be drinking Anchor Brewing's Our Special Ale.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beer Den Podcast. My name is Ethan Hoopy.
And I'm Michael LaRoe. So tonight we're drinking Christmas Ale by Anchor Brewing. So a little bit about Anchor Brewing. They actually brew all their stuff in copper equipment, and they use all natural malts and whole cone hops. They claim to be one of the first craft breweries to dry hop, meaning they add the bagged hops at the end during final brewing stages to impart more fragrance and aroma into the beer itself. They have a particular beer, Anchor Steam Beer, that they actually use open fermentation. They have shallow pans that are just like gigantic.
Okay.
And it actually gets cooled by filtered San Francisco air, which is where they're based out of.
Oh, all right. It's a really interesting way of doing it. So
yeah, they do a lot of like steam brewing, I guess. Something unique about this one is every year they brew it a little bit differently. It is really unique. They also change the tree that they put on the logo each year, which we'll get to that a little bit later when we talk about design. Let's dive right into our overall first takes on the beer. It has a really nice medium brown color with a cinnamon colored head on it. It has really good lacing, sticks to the side of the bottle very nicely.
Yeah, the smell is like very sweet, very malty. Like it has a very full smell to it. Like there's a lot there, a lot of complexity.
Yeah, I think this one's actually pretty well balanced because you get a little bit of hop scent to it. It smells kind of piney, a little resiny.
Yeah.
Pretty grainy with the malts.
What were your thoughts on the taste of this?
So it's pretty creamy, velvety. Like I said earlier, I thought it was pretty well balanced between malts and hops in it. It has a soft body, a slow carbonation. Flavor-wise, I feel like a slight kind of banana, kind of like what you'd get with like a Hefeweizen.
Okay.
Banana flavor to it. But it's very subtle, if it's there at all. Maybe it's just kind of my taste buds, but a little resiny, toasty.
Yeah, I keep thinking about pine trees. I kind of feel like it's like drinking a Christmas tree. There's just so much like there's so many spices kind of in it, and like or just sort of flavors, and it has kind of like a strong front end to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very wet, like not drying at all. It has a pretty clean finish to it. It's not long lasting or anything like that, but yeah, it's like you say, it's a very balanced beer.
Yeah, for having all those kind of flavors that you get little subtle hints of, it is pretty mellow and well balanced.
Yeah, this is definitely something. It's very warming. It's something that you could. It is great for. I mean, its purpose is for kind of the holiday season, and I think it does that very, very well.
So we base everything on 3 criteria. One being quality out of 50 points, value out of 25, and then also the design of the overall bottle or can, and that's also out of 25. For quality, I like this a lot. I actually gave it a 38 out of 50. I think their story behind like what they're doing here is pretty unique. The flavor is really well balanced, like we said, with all those different flavors that you get hints of. None of them are super overpowering and ruin the beer.
Yeah,
it's all very well balanced. They all work cohesively together to make a really great beer.
I totally agree with you. I ended up giving it only slightly lower at a 35, but same things. I think that it works very well altogether. The hop balance to it, it's not overly bitter, but it's also not overly sweet. It's very warming. I mean, it's just a very well put together Christmas ale.
Mm-hmm. So value, this came in at $11.99 for a 6-pack. So I gave this a 19 on value. I thought with it being an exclusive Christmas ale and the fact that they redo it each year, slightly different, that kind of made it a little bit more exclusive. So I thought the value was pretty fair on that. And it is for a 6-pack.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I ended up going with a 20 on this one, just because, like you say, it's very unique. They do a lot of work to try to make it unique every single year.
Yeah.
And so I think that because of that, it really justifies that few dollars extra.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's a very well priced beer.
And I think that kind of plays into my design score as well. I scored it a 20 in design. Like we said earlier, each year they change the recipe up a little bit for this Christmas ale.
Yeah.
And what they also do is they pick a new type of Christmas tree and they put that on the label and they hand draw that. And so each year it's a different label, different tree, different recipe. So it not only is it an exclusive, like you only get this during the holidays, but you're only going to get this beer this year.
Yeah.
And so it's almost a collector's item.
Yeah, the bottle actually, like, yeah, exactly. Because it's unique each year, it makes each bottle sort of, like you say, a collector's item.
Like I said, I gave this a 20. Overall, I mean, it does have a slightly different bottle shape. It does have a description of like their story, not particularly of what the recipe is. They don't want to give too much away on it.
Yeah.
But they do say like what the tree is that they drew. They say that like this one is the 44th annual Our Special Ale, how you can only get it during November to January, and then what the tree is. Our tree is for 2018 is where is it? A Korean pine. I mean, I think that's pretty unique. It has the alcohol content. This is a 6.9%. For a Christmas ale, I think this is a pretty unique grab.
Yeah, for sure. I ended up giving it the same score, 20, and the only reason why it didn't get higher was just because of the fact that the description on it isn't so much pertaining to like the flavor of the beer and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish it had some kind of description about what to expect with the flavor.
Maybe what the base of the recipe is.
Yeah, just something broad. I don't expect them to give away all their secrets, but other than that, I mean, yeah, it does have the alcohol content. The fact that it's a unique design every single year, I really like that. So yeah, I think a 20 is really good.
All right. So totaling these up, Ethan, you scored it a 75 out of 100. Myself, a 77. That's really close. We don't get that very often where we're only a couple points away from each other. So averaging that out, the Our Special Ale from Anchor Brewing scored a 76 out of 100.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for listening to another Beer Den review.
Don't forget to follow us on social media. Links down in the description.
Subscribe, like, and share. And if there are any beers you would like us to try out, leave them in the comments below.
We'll see you on the next episode of the Beer Den Podcast.